Yeah, my name's John Pridmore, and I'm a full-time evangelist for God. I used to be a gangster in the East End of London, and I wasn't very nice then, but I'm trying to be nice now. I was brought up in a normal family. My dad was actually a policeman, and at the age of 10 my parents told me that they were getting divorced, and I think that the two people I loved and trusted had crushed me inside. So I made an unconscious decision that I wasn't their love anymore, because I really thought if you don't love, then you don't get hurt. My mum ended up having a nervous breakdown and went to psychiatric hospital, and my dad remarried. And I think my stepmum thought the best way of bringing up a kid was beating them senseless each day, so that was adding to my pain. At the age of about 13 I started stealing, I think because I wanted someone to see that I was in pain, so it was like a cry for help. But that, because my dad was a policeman, it just added to the beatings. At 15 I was put in detention centre, which is like a youth prison, and I actually thought it was better in there than being at home, so I left home at 15. My only qualification was stealing, so that's what I did. At 19 I was in prison again, and there was another change in me. The way I dealt with the abuse I suffered as a kid is I just turned that abuse into anger. So I was always fighting. So I was put on 23-hour solitary confinement, and it was a bit like having a mirror put in front of you. And because I hated what I saw in that mirror, I seriously thought about taking away God's greatest gift, my own life. But God must have been there, because I didn't take my own life. But I came out of there more angry and more bitter than ever. And I thought, what you want out of this world you take, because no one gives you anything. And because I like fighting, I thought I might as well get paid for it. So I started bouncing around the East End and West End clubs of London. And I met some guys who seemed to have everything. They had the best cars, the best girls. They walked into a club and everyone stopped and was in awe of these people for all the wrong reasons, because they were afraid of them. But I suppose I wanted that power and I wanted that respect. And I thought that would fulfill me. So I started working for these people, but before very long I wasn't working for them, I was working with them. And these were the people who ran most of the organised crime in London. So to my shame I was involved in major drug deals, protection rackets, vicious crime of all sorts. But there was a time where I'd never leave my house without a gun, and now I'd never leave my house without a rosary. So it's amazing how God changes you. I was working a club that we part-owned in the West End of London, and I ended up hitting this guy, and I hit him with these knuckledusters. And the only reason I hit this guy was to impress an underworld boss who was there. I had to change all the names in my book, and his name in the book is called Bulldog. And because you had to be the most violent, you had to be the most vicious to keep your reputation. And I truly thought I had killed this man. And as I drove home that night, the thing that scared me the most is I didn't care. And I think that triggered something inside of me, because I thought, how can you become so dead that you could kill someone and not even care? And I sort of examined why I had all the things on the outside, but on the inside I was like, taking drugs just to get through another day. I came in a normal night, and it was a normal night, and I became aware of a voice speaking to me in my heart. And I knew that voice was God, and I cried out for another chance. It was like God withdrew himself from me in this moment, and it was terrifying. I'd been shot, I'd been stabbed, but this was the most terrifying moment of my life. And I cried out for another chance, not because I was sorry, but I didn't want to stay in this desolation. And I felt lifted up, and I said the first prayer I'd ever said. I said, up to now all I've done is take from you, God. Now I want to give. And as I said that prayer, I felt the Holy Spirit, the love of God, come pouring into me. And I think it was in that moment that I knew I was worth something, whereas up to that moment I always thought I was worthless. I ended up going on a retreat. I met a priest who told me to go on a retreat, which my mum sent me to, and I thought a retreat was lying on a beach, Bacardi Breezer, joint, nice girl, just chilling. So when I got there, it wasn't quite like I imagined. But I did something there which I never thought I'd do. I ended up going to confession, and I think that confession changed my life, because it was like when the priest told me that Christ forgave me, I just felt renewed inside, and I knew that it was true, that Christ had died for me and that I was forgiven. And as I walked away, it was like I just wanted to dance. I felt so free. Also at that retreat, I had an infused knowledge that Jesus was truly present in the Eucharist, and I knew I'd be a Catholic till the day I died. I left that retreat and I wanted to give again, and I ended up working with Blessed Mother Teresa of Calcutta. And this was in 97 when she was in the Bronx in New York, when she met Princess Diana. And she had a massive effect on me. Like, she was someone who was fearless. And she said to me on one day, if we give young people the truth, they always have the choice to choose the truth. But if we don't give them the truth, they never have the choice. So in the last 25 years, I've spoken to well over 3 million young people around the world. Like I said, I spoke at World Youth Day to 500,000 young people in the presence of Pope Benedict XVI. And I spent the greatest gift in my life is being able to tell them there's a God who loves them, a God who cherishes them, and a God who died for them. Because maybe if someone had done that to me, I wouldn't have lived the hell I lived, and also inflicted on other people for so many years.